Okay, so should we pick up the conversation from last time? Yes. Okay.
Yes. So
Yes.
about the age difference.
Age difference.
So
Yeah.
that was I think, a big thing to have that equality. And, because I really believe all human, right? Even children should be
Hmm.
respected, like
Hmm.
treated as equal.
Yeah.
So that I think you are the kind of a pioneer for me to do that and have
Mm-hmm.
that, equal kind of a, see you. Because for me, I don't honestly see you like 15-year younger, somebody like that. Somebody
Hmm.
equal level to me,
Hmm.
with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is a big kind of a help.
Yeah.
And recently you told me, like, because when I was with you in Toronto, you were not ready to come out like this, right? So
Yeah.
I'm the one who was on Facebook and on the public. So
Right.
you didn't want to be seen, right?
No, no, I
Then
wasn't ready
now
to.
you are as a therapist, and you said, I'm 31 and I wanted to show I'm ready to show.
Yeah.
And that really helped me because at the age of 31, I applied for my divorce. And my
Mm.
31st birthday was in Montreal, and I counted it as my first birthday. So, in a way,
Oh,
me
wow.
too, I have come to
Yeah.
so your journey helped me to go back and look at myself. And that
Hmm.
31, what you shared about, I'm ready now to show me because I'm 31.
Hmm.
And I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, I did the same thing because I really
Wow.
showed myself in a new way. And,
Yes. Yeah.
I saw in a way I was able to appreciate that and look at
Oh.
myself and say, wow.
Hmm.
So it's like your journey is your journey, but
Yeah.
still I can kind of learn and grow and, be in my journey. Like,
Hmm.
you are walking on your path, but I can walk on my path because you are also walking on that path, right?
Right.
So that
Right.
was something I really appreciate that.
Hmm.
And also
Hmm.
after the wedding,
Hmm.
there was so much of fear happened to me because you were my emergency contact and
Yeah.
address I used you, and I'm like, oh my god, what? Because for me, when you said Tamil man, right, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god. I'm like, I felt like I have lost you
Hmm.
because
Fair.
oh my god, like if that guy says, tell her not to use the address, what should I do
Hmm.
now? So
Hmm.
all those fears,
Yeah.
and so that was a big, I think, a big struggle because
Hmm.
there is so much of that depended on a man, and
Hmm.
man is the head, man is the, man
Hmm.
decides everything.
Hmm.
So I'm like, because if it could have been a non-Tamil,
Hmm.
I think I could have been more relaxed.
Sure.
But when you
Yeah.
said Tamil man, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, God, that really at the beginning
I
scared
totally
me.
understand. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But then when I read the poem, right? Even
Hmm.
like before that, I sent a message to him thanking, and I'm like, because I knew I have to send that message to him. And then
Hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm a divorced woman. And
Hmm.
divorce, what, even what you will think, right? Like I'm
Hmm.
praising your husband, whom I don't know at all, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I was like, no, I don't want to go into it. Let her live, let them live.
Hmm.
Why do I have to jump into and do? But inside me, then at last I said, okay, let me
Yeah,
do it.
sure.
And that's why I said, if you are comfortable, you share. If not, that's fine. You don't have
Absolutely.
but I
Yeah.
feel like you have to let it out. And then you
Yeah.
were like, oh, my husband really was happy and
It's very
said thank you.
appreciative.
And I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God, that was like kind of a okay. So you can write a message to your friend's husband and still, it can be appreciated, right? Because
Yeah. Of course.
again, it's a culture that,
Yeah.
there is,
For sure.
uh, you can't go out in a way for a coffee or, a friendship,
Mm.
right? With
Mm-hmm.
someone's husband, right? That's seen
Mm-hmm.
like a taboo, wrong, bad, right? There's no,
Mm.
so in that culture, still to,
That culture.
so
Yeah.
then, when because I wrote that poem, I read it to you in
Yes.
2023 or like long time ago. But
Yeah.
recently I felt I'm ready to share it with the public. So I posted
Mm.
it on Facebook. Then I said, this is about her. So I should tell her the poem because she is the one, it's all about her. But then
Oh,
I'm like, oh my God, if I share it, how the husband will think? Because
wow. Oh my
it's
gosh.
all about what happened before him, right? But will he get angry? Will he get mad? You know, because it's like that, So
Yeah.
it was again like, then I said, okay, and then you said, my husband wants to read it. Can you send it to me? And I'm like, wow. Well, so actually,
Yeah.
whole thing, even I don't know him, I
Yeah.
don't have a clue, but just,
Sure.
through you that helps. Oh, yeah, there is possibility, to have
Mm.
a different man in, because for
Right.
me, Tamil man, my imagination is kind
Right.
of in a box.
Yeah.
And here,
Yeah.
for me, when you first said sex therapist, right? And I'm
Hmm.
like, oh, because I still remember, I don't know whether you showed me or told me that, I think you showed me the Ganesh on your thali, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, Ganesh, you have become a sex therapist.
That's so funny.
So for me, that was a
Oh,
big deal. Like a
right.
Tamil man, like if you are unmarried, yes, I knew that you will do it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
having a Tamil man and still
Mm.
you
Mm-hmm.
can be a sex therapist and do what
Mm-hmm.
you want. It's like, I think for me,
Yeah.
it's like there is possible. With
Yeah.
Tamil man, you can break all the barriers and do what you love to
Yeah.
do. And, so I think you really give me that
Mm.
privilege and look at
Oh,
a man in a different way.
for
Because
sure.
honestly, I never can imagine like, Tamil man, you know, wife of a Tamil man is a
Yeah.
sex therapist is a
Right.
big deal for
Right.
me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
honestly, you are breaking all the, which
Oh,
for me, I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That,
yeah, Mo. You know
I
what,
have
though?
so
Maybe.
much respect towards him.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Well, growing up here, I think was a little bit different. Yes, we have the same kind of pieces and like, all that kind of differences and, you know, how people act and should behave and those, restrictions and stuff. But for in case just like whoever's listening who don't understand that mentality that you're talking about, can you explain that? What were you worried about or what did you think that I wasn't allowed to do and things like that when it comes to like marrying a couple guy? What's your preconceived notions that you were thinking about before?
Because I thought you have to get permission, right?
Ah,
So,
yes. Okay.
because you were with your mother, parents, when
Mhm.
you became
Parents.
my emergency contact.
Yeah.
So, that freedom, right? Now this
Hmm.
man is there.
Hmm.
So, actually, I don't know the setup, but it's, so he can say, no, I don't want somebody else to be in this address, right? So, and
Mm.
even you are comfortable, you want to, be who you are with me.
Yeah.
But if and if the man says like, no, then what should, and also, I think at the beginning also, like I didn't get the chance, but before, right? Like when I was doing that thing with the army, right? I
Mm.
reached out to you and said like, I need help, right? And
Yeah.
you helped me. But there are times you didn't help me also because you follow your heart. So it's
Hmm.
nothing about, I'm not saying
Hmm.
you are helping me all the time. And,
Yeah, yeah.
when it is
It's
right, you will
dependent.
do it. But I
Hmm.
always had that courage to ask you
Yes.
because you authentically say yes or no.
Hmm. Yeah.
But when you got married, again,
Hmm.
I had, oh my God. So if I ask her now,
Mm.
does she have to get the permission from the husband?
Wow.
Does he,
Right.
will approve, agree for her to do, right? Because all this, like, because that army thing is, I don't know how many Tamil people will agree, right? Like, why are
Hmm.
you sending money to the army, right? Like, all
Hmm.
these negative things, which, because I want to
Sure.
build the peace. That's all.
Yeah.
It's not I'm saying they didn't do anything wrong, right?
Right.
And for me, to do that, I want the Tamil because I don't want to go and ask the white people, give me
Yeah, it's
money to
different.
help them because, what's the point, right? We
Mm-hmm.
ourselves have to do that. So
Mm-hmm.
then, that thing about that does she have to ask permission from the husband? Like,
Right.
is she
Like that
dependent on this
thought.
man
Right,
to
right.
agree with
Mm-hmm.
everything, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you saying yes or no, I
Mm-hmm.
totally agree. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you
Mm-hmm.
decide, okay, but and also putting you into that place to say
Mm-hmm.
you have to ask,
Yeah.
so if I ask, oh, because most of the time my thing is, oh, I need to first ask I have to check with my husband. I need to ask
Mm-hmm.
my husband, right? Everything
Interesting.
after marriage, it's
Right.
about husband, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
now the woman will say, oh, yeah, no, I'll think about it and let you know, right?
Right, right.
That has to be before marriage and after marriage also because you are but then it changes with the man. Like, I need to ask
Mm-hmm.
my husband. I need to know what he
Mm.
thinks. If
Right,
he's
right.
okay. So all thing goes with that
With
husband.
that.
And there is
Mm-hmm.
no, woman's identity at all, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for me, that was the one thing I had, like, oh my God, it's like, I know, am I going to make a big problem, because he doesn't know me at all,
True,
who I
true. Yeah,
am.
yeah, that's fair. Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
our friendship, he doesn't have a clue where,
No,
and
that's
why
our
you are
history.
helping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and why you are helping me, but all these, he doesn't have. So, but so that was honestly a
Interesting.
big kind of a way for me to trust. And I think
Mm,
again for me to come and walk with you, knowing there is somebody, but still I have my freedom and right to be your friend. It's not
correct.
getting into both of you, but
No.
walk you and knowing, yeah, she is someone's wife.
Yeah,
I respect her, but
sure.
still I have my freedom to follow her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a kind
Yeah,
of something, my
absolutely no.
journey.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like parallel journeys, right? It's like we can still be connected even though like things in our life are shifting, but we can still walk the journey together. It might look a little different sometimes, but we still have that respect and autonomy towards each other. Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I think we're buffering a little bit. Well,
So
let's see.
that's
Yeah.
whole journey. So many happening, and but unfortunately, we never spoke in time. Not a single time, right? So that's a very because I tried
Yeah.
and it doesn't flow for me, right? Even words, right? Like appreciation, feelings, right? I feel
Mhm.
sorry for you. How do I
Mm.
say it in Tamil,
Mm.
right? Really going deeper and connecting with somebody. There's no, way. Even though that's why recently started to realize, yes, they say Tamil is one of the oldest languages in the world. I
Yes.
totally agree.
Right.
But do we really have a better way to connect with Tamil? To
It's a
really
good question.
have that emotional connection with Tamil? Because
Yeah.
it's more of questioning, right? Because one good
Hmm.
thing about you is you never asked me question, right? Like especially divorce, right? Not even
Yeah.
until today, you don't know who was my ex-husband,
No
right?
idea. No
But
clue.
most of the Tamil people, like when
Yeah.
I say I'm divorced, the first question is, where is he from? Like who is all the
Mm.
details about him? And I'm like, he is no longer with me. Why
Yeah.
do you
What does it
need
matter?
detail, right?
100%.
So
Yeah.
the other biggest challenge, like, everything, and I'm really grateful now. I'm very, like,
Hmm.
so strong. You should
Yes.
not know anything about my essay. It is done, finished,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah. That's it.
He's no longer in the picture. But the
Hmm.
people are so curious to know
Hmm.
all these
Hmm.
personal details, which is not
Hmm.
needed to them.
Hmm.
It doesn't help them. So that is like kind of a digging and finding out. So
Yeah.
that is the other biggest challenge of the community, like, wanted
Yeah.
to know. Because I took you when we were coming to the airport, right? Where I stayed in that apartment and said,
You
this is
should, we
where
went
I will
around.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. So
that's right.
I did it. You never asked anything about him,
Mm.
and so that is the real friendship because what does, whoever he is, what does it
What does it
make for
matter?
us, right? In
Exactly.
our,
The connection is this one, right? And this is the one that matters, right? Who are you, right? Yeah.
so that is the biggest challenge I found, like with the Tamil
Mm.
community, because that is why it's very hard at the beginning to tell. Because now I am very cut and clear, like, hey,
Uh,
you don't need to stop,
right, right.
But at that moment, I am not able to speak like that. So
Yeah.
that's the one reason I couldn't tell I'm divorced because for me,
Mm.
the
Hmm.
questions which are asked, I couldn't kind of handle it because the questions always people ask is like work, where do you work? How much,
Hmm.
even how much you earn,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
And
Yeah.
I'm asking you for money if I'm,
Yeah.
okay, you have that. So all these personal questions which is
Yeah.
not needed. So it's
Hmm.
much better to be quiet than, talking to people because these are unnecessary questions which doesn't help at all, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I think I have really struggled because I don't know how to have a healthy relationship with a Tamil because I never had a healthy relationship in Tamil.
Makes
So,
sense. Yeah.
so what do I talk? How do I
Yeah.
talk, right? What do I
Yeah.
say? So it's a real,
Mhm.
real struggle because it's not I myself is struggling to
Yeah.
have the better conversation, to,
Hmm.
have a positive comments or, share things positively, right? Because I
Yeah.
have not done with you anything positively in Tamil, right? It's all in
In
English, right?
English. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a, real, a big thing actually.
Hmm.
But we are struggling as a
Yeah.
Tamil.
Community for sure. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Because we say we are Tamil,
Hmm.
but we are not connected with the language at all, right?
Mm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
actually, it doesn't, our connection is not based on, you can be any person, right? African or Asian or Indian or white girl, right? I think it will be the same
Hmm.
because you are Tamil doesn't make any difference, right?
Mm.
But
Hmm.
I think these things I can easily talk because you
Talk about.
understand because
Yeah.
you understand the past and everything. So
Yes. Yes.
understanding is there for sure.
Hmm.
But other
Hmm.
than that, it
Hmm.
doesn't language doesn't connect us at all.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we don't know how to connect also through our mother tongue because
No.
it's so limited for us.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny. I think you and I actually we tried to. We're like, let's try and have a conversation in Tamil. I think once, just once. I don't know if you remember. It didn't really take off. It felt too formal. It felt a little too awkward. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It was just like page Tamil, but like it was just like conversational Tamil, but it wasn't. It didn't. I don't know. It didn't connect in the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you say that because it's like yes, our experiences and the understanding and history and family pieces, caste, origin, like all that stuff, the understanding is there, which is what connects us. And also you and I have that corrective experience that we talk about where it's like you and I we feel so unique in each other's lives, right? Like I don't have a person who's 15 years older who's okay with me calling them Mo. You know what I mean? Like that's unique. Right? I don't have anyone like that, right? Who is also Sri Lankan, who's also Tamil, right? I do have friends who are older from different backgrounds, right? But not anyone specifically from the same country. So that's different too, right? So it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Hmm.
And at that time, I think the divorce was so stigmatized. So
Ah,
for me, that was one, and living in a shelter as a medical doctor and going for therapy as a medical
yes.
doctor. So all those were
Yes.
really kind of a big thing. But
Yeah.
it was, like I was struggling by myself in those,
Mhm.
even going to the therapy session, all these things. But I think,
Yeah.
like, because I don't know, but COVID time, I knew that you were going for therapy, right? So
Yeah.
it really helped me in a way because all the friends who I had in my life, they all were seeking help, right? So in
Hmm.
a way, but at the beginning, it was like, I felt alone because,
Yeah.
but still, there was so much positive support. Like, nobody
Yeah.
didn't say, why are you going? So but then it all became together and, but I think that also helped me, like you were seeking help and, you didn't
Hmm.
stay, you were trying to, and also I think after bachelor's degree, you did the diploma course, right?
Yes.
AWCCA. So in a way, going up, you came down. So that
Hmm.
in a way, it was you followed your heart, right? So because me being a medical doctor and jumping down, and I felt like, oh my God, right? Because everybody is
Yeah.
going higher and higher, right? But you come
100%. Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
No, but then I found you. Then somebody else, engineer, was there doing the course. So it
That's
really
right.
helped
Yes.
me. I'm not
Yeah.
alone in this journey.
Yeah.
So all those are like breaking the stigma and helping, for us to follow our own path, right? That
Hmm.
heart.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it was really something, because
Absolutely.
there's so much of the education is kind of a big thing in our community, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that is our identity.
Identity. Yeah.
So that was a big, kind of thing. And for you accepting me, and also you didn't care about that education for yourself also because you wanted to
No.
just, follow your path.
Yes.
So it was
Yeah.
really something I really appreciate that. It's
Thanks,
helped
Mo.
me
Oh, I
a lot.
appreciate that too. Yeah. And like I think for me, Mo, like I'm so used to people being from our community and like if they're a medical doctor or like a professional in like some sense, they have like a very like I'm all this and I'm all that, which fine. Like you studied very hard, you spend a lot of money studying, sure, okay, it's fine. But also like it's hard to relate sometimes as a human being, right? Who has flaws, who is flawed, who, we're not
Mhm.
nobody's perfect, right? And you don't need to carry that ego identity piece to be
Mhm.
like, I am a doctor, I am this, I am that. And just like you were just so approachable, which I really appreciated. And I don't think I even learned that you had a medical degree until a little bit later on in the course when I think you spoke about it in front of the class one day. And I was like, I had no idea. It's like, since when did this happen? Right? So it's like you never really carried yourself in such a way where it wasn't relatable. It was very like down to earth, approachable. Like we are all in this together. We're going through this course. It was a very intense course, right? Like a lot of self-reflection, a lot of assignments, a lot of presentations.
Yeah.
So, and we were sitting with difficult topics. We're talking about child abuse, we're talking about women abuse, we're talking about people in counseling and going through different domestic violence situations, sexual violence. We're talking about very difficult topics together, right? So you're just like, yeah, let's talk about it. Well, let's hear my story, I'll hear your story. We'll, dissect this article together, right? So you were very approachable. So I'll say that for sure. I don't know if you knew that, but it was, yeah, like
Yeah.
was very
It's
down to earth. Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
I think that what you appreciate, right? That is, I think, a big struggle for me in
Hmm.
Sri Lanka, especially in the Tamil community, because
Okay.
I wear my slippers are very simple slipper, like flip flop. But the
Oh,
flip flop is called bata or bathroom
gotcha.
slippers. So
Ah, okay.
there's no
Interesting.
respect for that flip flop because in Canada,
Doesn't
our
matter.
clothing doesn't make anything, right? Because we walk with flip flop, right? We are
Yeah,
respected with the flip
casually.
flop because
Yes.
we can go into a big place also with a big flip flop because
Yeah.
nobody wants weddings, right? People go with shorts and everything, right? Because
Hmm.
Canada has really kind of but in Sri Lanka, it's so my slippers and also I have a cloth bag. I don't wear handbag. So this,
Mm-hmm.
because I have noticed it in my village last time, the respect has gone or they see like cheap. How to say, like
Interesting.
non-human way
Really?
because of my down-to-earth approach. But because for me, I can't, right? Like I sit on the floor. I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
sit down. I have to, so I am who I am, right? I don't
Hmm.
want, but that for them, it's like they can't respect somebody who is down to earth. If
Mm.
you,
Wow.
I still remember somebody said, if you walk like that, who is going to invite you into the house? You should come in a car and get down and, show yourself. So
Wow.
that
Right, right,
is
right.
a big, because especially Jaffna, they are
Hmm.
so into money, right? So
Mm.
what
Okay.
you wear,
Yeah.
so
How
even
you come off.
recently, we were saying how I am very comfortable with foreigners in Sri Lanka because we walk in
Yeah.
public transport. Like we
Right,
are
right.
just, we sit on the ground, right? All these. And this guy says, if you go to your village, people will
Mhm.
call you mentally crazy woman. And I
Right,
said,
right.
yes, I know, because they have already done it. So this down to approach thing
Oh,
have
that's so
turned
interesting.
into, because I think that is why now I am so hesitant to go, because I am showing I'm one with you kind of thing.
Yeah.
But their addiction, I'm like, then why do I have to, and I'm not going to change myself for you. I'm
Right.
not going to wear high skill heels because you will
You.
respect me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Exactly.
If you can't respect me, then you stay
That's
there.
fine.
I will continue wherever I get respect, no respect, I will live like this, right?
Right,
So that
right.
down to approach it's really a beautiful thing what you are saying, but
Oh.
many people can't understand or appreciate that down to
Hmm.
earth thing, especially
Interesting.
again our community.
Community for sure. For sure. Yeah. It's so interesting though, because I think maybe we talked about this once before, but I was volunteering at a hospital a long time ago, just as a volunteer, and some person stepped into the elevator and he was just wearing scrubs, just like the thing that you tie over here. And then somebody I was talking to like offered him a Timbit. Hey, we're just offering it everyone as we're going around. And he's like, sure, I'll take one. And he stepped off the elevator and then he went on to whatever his work was. And someone was like, oh, by the way, that's the chief of surgery over there. That was like the top dog of the surgical floor. And I was like, I had no idea. This guy was just talking about Timbits. He's just wearing scrubs, he's just wearing his regular thing and no coat, no name tag, no badge, no nothing, no worker around him. He's just just walking, and it's like that, like that's what's appreciated. You know what I mean? Like I can find the appreciation in someone just being normal, talking to normal people, like a volunteer who has no affiliation, but just there to help people, and he's doing the same thing. And we just had a quick conversation in an elevator, and that was it. Right. So it's like that feels like it's missing, right, from what you're talking about in the community. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they place us as a doctors as a
Hmm.
god. Because I
Hmm.
still know, because I graduated in 2026, so I was 26 years old.
Right.
So I was a student. Then I
Yeah.
come to Sri Lanka as a medical doctor,
Hmm.
and I was working. So when I go to the work, everybody stand. I
Wow.
six, right? And before that, nobody stood,
Nothing.
right?
Yeah.
Stand when the professor comes in, right? So
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
used to standing up, and suddenly I'm
Sudden.
there, everybody standing, and I'm like, so I still remember this older gentleman who was a security guard. So I said,
Okay.
Uncle, please don't stand up. I feel so bad. Don't do that.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
I will lose my job. So
Oh
I
my
was like,
gosh. Really?
I was like, what should I do? Then I
Wow.
really
Yeah.
understood because he said, I will lose. Then we had like 10 minutes, like not 10 minutes, half an hour tea break or something.
Mm.
So, like, doctor is having tea, doctor is having tea. Go, go, everybody. And it's just the tea, like they make it. Sometimes, there will be only two patients. So I felt like they come from far away. So I felt
Mm.
like 1 o'clock is lunch break. So I will like, just let me finish these two and send them. So they will be gone home. And I'll have, no, 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 doctor, it's your lunch break. You should. So they wait for that 1 hour
Oh my
until I
gosh.
finish my lunch. Then I look
Wow.
at them, they will go. So all these, I felt like unfair, but I didn't
Yeah.
have a choice,
Right. It was a
because once
system.
I got into that,
Yeah.
and that hit me like God.
Um,
And
right.
honestly, I couldn't take it. I was, that's why I love Canada on that. Sri Lanka
Hmm.
is in that, like, work.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Canada, because we are equal, right? Whether we are, and also in
Yeah.
Canada, nobody doesn't ask. Like, if I say I work in McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
Nobody doesn't ask what job they are. I
No.
can be a cleaner or I can be a manager. Still,
Yeah.
I am welcome. But
Yeah.
here, it's all about that job. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter McDonald's. Like, what are you doing? If I am
Yeah.
cleaner, that's it.
Right.
The whole face changes. If I am a
Right.
manager,
Right. Oh
that's
my
so
God.
good. Everything changed, right? So
Yeah.
it's, I
Wow.
can't imagine, and
Yeah.
then how much money you made. Because, like,
Mm.
last time when I went to the village, I was
Mm-hmm.
surprised because I don't work as a medical doctor. They
Mm-hmm.
feel they are, I have disappointed them.
Mm. Oh wow.
So I said, do you want me next time to come with a stethoscope? If I come, that will make you pride, because, like, having me, there is no pride because
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
carry a stethoscope. So these things, and I'm like, how my profession will make you
Yeah.
good or bad, or better or small, right? But they are
Yeah.
so stuck into that. So that's
Yeah.
a really hard part.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the system, right? Like it just in general, the cultural pieces, societal pieces, and then everyone's so it's like a routine almost. And they're like, as soon as you start to try and break it, they're like, no, 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 go back into what we know is normal, right? For how we're functioning in society. So it's I mean, like again, like you're like a rule breaker, right? Right now, when they're like looking at you, they're like, oh my goodness, look at this person, right? Yeah, yeah,
Because other thing also, I was so grateful because I went to Montreal right away from
yeah.
my separation, and I met these people who were very genuine, honest. Especially one gentleman, white man. There
Mm-hmm.
was no bad thing. So I broke
Mm,
my wrist, and I
okay.
got the workers' compensation.
Mm.
Then, when the doctor told me to go back to work, I went back to work. So I did
Oh, okay.
everything legally.
Yeah.
Every So there was a couple, a Sri Lankan couple, Tamil couple. They got mad at me that I went back to work. They said, why you didn't, like, continue to be saying I have pain and get the money and stay,
Oh, right.
right?
Mm,
So that
yes.
is one thing. But I knew the friends I had in Montreal, they will
They
never
would.
allow me to do any shortcuts. It's cut.
Right,
So
right.
all those, even I got the divorce, I got the Canadian citizenship, everything, bank, everything was perfectly right.
Right,
Because
right.
I get the money from them, right? What should I
Yeah.
do in this? And that? You should do this, this, this. Inform the government this, these things, right? Even tax,
Mm,
everything clean, like there was nothing.
yeah.
Then when I came to Toronto, and when I was in the shelter, I was getting the loan and the grant, and it's like, why can't you get the social assistance, right?
Mm, mm-hmm. Right, right.
So social assistance welfare is only given to the those who don't, like, if there is a loan and grant is given, then
Yeah.
we can't get the welfare money.
Right.
So that
Right.
was there was somebody who is working for government. She was saying, pay the school by cash and tell the government you don't go to school and get the money.
Oh.
Right? So that
Wow.
manipulative thing. So I
Yes.
found, when I met you,
Mm-hmm.
that authenticity, you never told these crooked ways, right? So that was
No.
very helpful, right? Because all
Mm,
people, because I don't know the law, right? I'm
Yeah.
new. So
Yeah.
so when they guide, right, they are in the like working for the welfare system, government
Mm,
system. They are saying,
mm.
who will go and pay the school 1,500 rupees by cash, right? Money, like how much, right? The money
Wow.
to go and give it to
Wow.
the school and
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
and then tell the government, no, I don't study. I'm, in the shelter. Give me money. But and also I remember when the COVID happened, a Tamil
Yeah.
person, I couldn't believe. He calls me and says, Trudeau is giving money to all the Canadians now. Please go and get your money.
That's too good.
How, so that money, and getting
Yeah.
in a wrong way is
Right.
another
Right.
problem I faced with the Tamil community, right? So
Hmm.
I'm really grateful that, Montreal, I didn't have, I was completely in
Yeah.
the hands of the white people. I did exactly what they told me, and, but then when I came to Toronto, there was a time I struggled. I couldn't know
Hmm.
how to handle it. But I'm so grateful that you didn't lead me to any
Mm.
suggest me like, oh, now you are in the shelter, you should try to get this money and that money, and because I got every therapy for free, right? It was
Yeah,
a
you did.
huge thing,
Huge.
right?
Yeah.
So I got so much like a free food and everything was.
Hmm.
I can't ask more than that. Like, they
Right.
provided, because even for my divorce, the legal aid into Montreal, they provided everything.
Mm.
So
Hmm.
almost the Canadian government has invested a
Yeah.
lot inside me. So I'm grateful,
Yeah.
and I don't do anything,
Absolutely.
bad to them because what they, but
Hmm.
unfortunately, a community which misleads people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
can get upset when we do in a right
Good
way. That's
way.
a
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's the other, I think, a blessing, because to
Hmm.
ask you as a emergency contact, because
Hmm.
except the white people,
Hmm.
honestly, I I can't ask somebody, because for me that authentic, honest, right?
Yeah.
Somebody I can trust that they will be do things in a legal right way.
Way. Right.
Even if I am
Right.
not there, not manipulate the system, right? Because that
Hmm.
is what our people. So that's other thing. I'm
Yeah.
so grateful that this
Hmm.
being very
Yeah.
up there. Because that, I think it's not in our culture to say right away, sorry, I can't talk to you now. We don't
Sure.
have that, right? We will like,
Yeah.
oh, I wish I will talk to you, but I'm that this, like a
This, that. Yeah.
common excuse, right? Just like,
Yes.
sorry, today I don't feel like talking to you. I'm sorry, I
Mm.
can't talk to you now. Like simple thing. Nobody can't say right, or it's just, so these simple things, we don't have that opportunity and the freedom to do
Freedom.
that simple talks, right?
Absolutely.
So